everyone, and welcome to the workshop. I don't have a proper workshop name yet or anything like that, but I wanted to start out this potential YouTube series here just showing the workshop, showing all my tools I currently have, the things I've built so far, the ideas we have. Also, I want to make this video to see how much we change over the next year. So hopefully next January we make another workshop tour video, and then we see how things altered and changed, because I'm just getting into the woodworking thing as a side note, and very, very amateur. I'm not a professional in any means, just enjoying the hobby and the sport. I grew up doing woodworking with my father, and then I went off to college, and of course you can't really have a wood shop in a dorm room. Let's focus on my college stuff, focus on career stuff, and now at age 30 I finally own a house and I can start building the shop. So I want to share this journey with you and my mom, who watches these videos because I know she loves them too. And so that's my idea with this little workshop series, is just to share my love of the hobby with you. It's not necessarily going to be beautiful projects, but I will love them because I made them. With that, how did I get all this stuff? I've been in college all this time. Where did it all come from? Well, about 5 years ago, before I even owned a house, maybe even more than 5 years ago, I was randomly browsing Craigslist for an item called a Shopsmith. Over here behind all this wood, so don't ignore this wood, because this is just a current project I'm working on. If you see down here, there's a big pile of pallets. This actually started out as 20 pallets, and I'm slowly going through and breaking them all down. That will be part of my first videos. I am learning a lot by breaking down these pallets, and I want to share that knowledge with you. I know there are a ton of pallet breaking videos, but I just want to provide my perspective on it as well. But behind that piece of plywood and those pallet boards there, we have the Shopsmith. Shopsmith is a table saw. There are other attachments. I have a thickness planer attachment. It can be a lathe. It can be a whole bunch of things. I'll slowly work on getting the bandsaw attachments, the end joiner attachments. There are some other attachments I'm looking for as well, but those are the two key ones that I want from the start. So when I moved in, the first thing I did in the new place was I painted epoxy on the floor. It makes it a lot easier to clean, and some people are like, oh, does it get slippery with sawdust? If you're wearing proper shoes, no, it doesn't get slippery with sawdust. So also I want to introduce you to our shop best friend, who is only out here when we're not running power tools. Right there, this is Watson. Right there, say hi, Watson. Say hi to the camera. Yes, who's a good boy. And over here, you can also see some of the pallet wood I've taken apart so far as well. But this is Watson. You might see him out here when I'm not running power tools. If I am running power tools, I put him inside for safety, obviously. But then over here, you can also see the first shelvings I built. So I actually built these shelves over here to fit the Shopsmith. So back to that Shopsmith story and how I got all these tools. Looking on Craigslist, saw a Shopsmith ad, and it was someone selling their entire tool shed, and it had a Shopsmith in it. So probably 90% of the items you see in this shop came from that purchase of that workshop. I ended up paying like $750 for it, and I got all these really, really random items. I had absolutely nowhere to put them, so they sat in storage for 5 years until I finally closed on this house back in October, and then I could finally start setting it up and getting it ready. So I built this shelving unit here so the Shopsmiths can slide in there underneath. Shopsmiths is on wheels, can move in and out, and then I built these shelves on top of it, so Shopsmith items are on that shelf right there, and then I get various hand tools and other things I use. You can see my table saw, push guides and things like that, and a whole bunch of little different toolboxes. Majority of those came from that purchase as well. But yeah, so that's just like item organization. And then if you go over here, where Watson is sniffing right now, I have some hardware containers down there. I have my little vise on the edge of that table, and then I have a little pegboard back there. Let's take a closer look at the pegboard on that side. So switching angles a little bit now, you can see what this pegboard looks like back here. Just a couple hardware containers down there, and there's where I throw some scraps when I'm done working on them. Pegboard organization. Put it up on the wall a little bit, and I just hang a whole bunch of stuff up there that I'm using throughout that current time. So I also built another pegboard back here on this wall. You probably saw that in the first shot. And this pegboard is just holding random items. Maybe I don't use these items quite as much and so forth. And over here is one of the first things I built was this battery charging station. And I hang some of my electrical cords right there. There's my one power outlet in the shop. That might be something we need to eventually fix as well. And then also, I put my sheet storage behind my garbage cans. My recycling can and my garbage can are right there. And conveniently, sheets fit right in there. Okay, now we're taking a little turn in the shop here. We can see the other corner of the shop where I have this heavy duty shelving unit over here. So over here we have this heavy duty shelving unit just holding random, items around the house. The garage is also my storage shop, so you gotta mix, each one. Right here is one of the first items I built. This is my rolling tool cart. So you can see I have my drills, batteries, different bits. Down here I have my circular saw, different little containers, speed square, one of the most important items, and then of course it's on wheels. So here I have pencils, other random tools. All I did was drill some things on it. Maybe I'll make a video going over this specifically one day. This side I have other random squares, saw, and so forth. And then on the back side here, excuse me Watson, it's just some clamp storage and whatnot. So yeah, nothing too crazy, pretty simple build, but I wanted something that could be like a mobile workstation for me depending on the project I'm working on. And then the other first thing I built in the shop is up next. This is my first workbench, and it became my sliding compound miter saw bench and dust collecting system in a way. I don't have like a ceiling dust collector, but I do have one down here to conveniently fit. So there's a shop vac down there, filled in one of those like dust vacuum things you put on top of a Home Depot bucket. I believe it's called the dust topper or dust stopper, something like that from Home Depot. Then here we have the DeWalt sliding compound miter saw. This is what's built all my shelving so far. Really, really useful item. At least when you're first starting out a shop. Then once you get the shelving and things like that, then usually you move on to a table saw doing everything. But first shop, this is a very important item in my mind. Then over here we have a few other items. So over here are some of the items that came with that shop purchase. A very, very old bandsaw and a very, very old scroll saw. They kind of work, but they're not great. I'm gonna try to restore them and see if I can get them running and looking a lot better. We'll see how that goes. I mean, I've made some scroll saw pieces already, and the bandsaw, sometimes the blade slips off, so might need a little work. Gotta see what the price difference is, if it's even worth restoring. Yeah, so that's a little shop tour. Like I said, a lot of this side over here, we have a personal storage. Like I have a kayak back there. Eventually that kayak is going to be lifted onto the ceiling on a pulley system, so it's up and out of the way off the floor. Bikes I put up on the wall and racks. I have 3 bikes over there, and then I have the rest of the shop going around here, and it's going to be a great time. I'm really looking forward. Oh, right there is my router on the router table that I'm pretty sure the shop I bought it from, homemade, so I get to play with that and see how that goes so far. So yeah, that was a little shop tour we have. Also, you can see the lighting is very bright. That's also a very important thing that I wanted in the shop. If we look up at the ceiling here, oh, there's Watson. Hey, Watson. Pet the puppy. Pet the puppy. All right, I have these LED lights that I put up onto the ceiling, and they help make the shop really bright. And safety is number one for me, so I didn't want to film or do any projects like that until I had the shop relatively organized. And now I think we're finally at that point that we're relatively organized, and we can start thinking about projects. First stuff we're going to be looking at are these pallets. So I just got my roof done on the house, and the shingle people were about to throw away 20 pallets when I had the dumpster here. I said, no, I'll take them. So I got 20 pallets. I have about 7 left to break down, and man, have I learned a lot breaking down these pallets so far. So my first couple videos are going to be talking about that process. Look, some of these are really nice boards too, and they clean up very, very nicely. You just have to be careful of nails in them. And I'll show you some tricks I have to play with that. But I've gone through a lot so far. Most of what I've done in the garage has been breaking down pallets. It's a great little exercise I've been doing, but we'll get into those videos next. I'm not exactly sure when they will go up, but we'll see how it goes and play it by ear. But with that, welcome to the workshop. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.